And we're back. So here I'm just measuring here for some pole wrap that I bought. I knew that I wanted to do a fluted design. I've been seeing it everywhere on the internet and on YouTube, and I just wanted to recreate it and do something on this TV console. When it came time for cutting, I was definitely scared. It was my first time using a power saw, and I just wasn't sure if I was doing it right. But after the first cut, it was kind of exhilarating to know that I'm working with power tools. I see a lot of women doing it, and now I am too. So I'm no expert, and I definitely am lacking some of the tools that I needed in order to make sure that this stayed in place. But luckily my son was there, and he decided, or he was willing to help me hold down the board and make sure that it didn't move again. I was trying to get the most even cut that I could get without causing any injury or just not mess up this board itself. Very rough cut.
That was a horrible cut.
Okay, so after getting all the boards cut, I decided that I was going to use some wood glue and glue it to the sides here. And again, I am not an expert, and I do not have all the tools, but I had these clamps. I got those from the dollar store, so they did what I needed them to do. I definitely needed some more pressure, and so you see I was using a hoverboard. So off camera, I put on some tape here just to make sure that it laid down on the places that I could not put any pressure, and that worked pretty well. So I'm just taking off the tape here, and then we'll see what happens next. Now for some more sanding. So here I'm just using some paint from a previous project, and I am going to be doing a paint wash where I just add water to the paint and really thin it down. It's going to be more of a liquid, and I'm just going to spread it all over the top of the surface. I'll be using a sponge from the dollar store in order to add the paint wash. After spreading it over the full surface, I just went over it with a lint-free cloth and wiped it down. I didn't want it to sit for too long. I wanted the color to be buildable. So I wanted to see what it was going to be like with the first one. Then I went on with the second one, and eventually I got to a color that I was proud of. For the rest of the body, I primed it with some Rust-Oleum primer. I had the primer left over from some previous projects that I've done, and I really do like this product. I ended up using the rest of the can, so I'm sure I'll be restocking it soon. I let the primer dry overnight, and when I came back, it was not the prettiest thing, but it has to get ugly before it gets better. So here I'm just sanding over the primer. I thought that I actually wanted to show the wood, and I was trying to remove some of the primer, and it didn't really end up working that way. It's also really good to just go ahead and sand after you paint any layer of paint, just to make sure that if you had any drips that you smooth them out. So the paint that I use for the base, I mixed it myself. I just used some white chalk paint that I had left over and a sample paint that I got from a previous project as well. And then I just got real messy. I used a sponge from the dollar store, and it was more like I was wiping on the paint. Now to seal the whole thing, I went in with some polyurethane. And I remember using this product once when I was a kid and I was working with some ceramics. I didn't notice that it was that same thing until I started putting it onto the TV console, and the consistency and the look of it just reminded me of it. So it was kind of a nostalgic moment for me. Now you're probably wondering why I decided to use the sponge to apply the polyurethane. I just was thinking that this would be the easiest way to just wipe it on, and this stuff dries pretty fast, so it's kind of a hurry up and wipe and then let it finish the drying process. Just as a side note, if you're going to be brushing this on, just make sure that it's all going in the same direction. So this is the second coat. As you can see, it goes on a little milky, but once it dries, it levels itself out and it's completely clear. I'm gonna go over this on the white parts of the TV console as well. And hopefully it does not turn it yellow. But for the most part, we're all done with this. This was before, and this is after. I just wanted to point out that this is a new thing for me, and I really do enjoy flipping things and making them my own. This is something that I would probably be a lot more perfect with if I was selling it, but since it's just going in my home, I'm just happy that it's done. And I think it looks good. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. I did. It was very time consuming, but worth it. Please let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you guys here next week. Bye.